What's up guys, Nathan here, and today I want to talk about the one simple piece of poker advice that I got very early on in my poker career that quite frankly changed everything for me, and I think it might help some of you guys out as well. So some of you guys who have followed me for a long time may know that I was at a time mentored and staked as well by a famous high stakes poker player. And one of the great pieces of advice that he gave me very on in my poker career was, Nathan, you do not need anyone's permission to play great poker. Now, let me break it down what I mean by that, what I thought he meant by that at the time, and how I've interpreted that over the years to help me improve my poker game and get the results that I want. Really what this boils down to, guys, is your mental game. It's a feeling, it's a confidence about yourself when you sit down to play poker that really nobody can ever take away from you. No bad beat in the world can take it away. No comment on the internet. Nothing that somebody says at the poker table can change that. And it's a belief that you are the best player at that table. And as I always point out, this is not about arrogance. This is not about, oh, look at how big and tough I am. There's none of that in the game of poker. Poker is not an ego-based game. This is just a quiet confidence that you bring to the table that you are the most prepared, you're the most skilled player, and the most emotionally stable player at that poker table. And quite frankly, you're there to take everyone else's chips. And let it be known, guys, I think a lot of people kind of get this game wrong. They think that, poker is this little fun little get-togethers, little chit-chat, maybe have a beer, maybe, see who has the best hand. And no, like the great Doyle Brunson said, poker is war. People pretend it is a game. When you first sit down at the poker table, guys, your goal should be to take everyone else's chips at that table. I know this sounds crude. I know it sounds predatory. I know it sounds pretty brutal. But guys, you need to remember that poker is, at the end of the day, a zero-sum game. Nobody is there to donate their money to you. It is, unfortunately, a game where your profits will essentially come at the result of somebody else's losses. Some people don't like this about the game, but in my opinion, this is just the natural state of nature, and I really don't think too deeply about it. I think about my own approach and what I'm going to do at the poker tables. So really what changed for me personally is just bringing my own agenda to the poker table and understanding that I'm there to do a job. I'm there to get everyone else's chips at this poker table, and there's absolutely no comment, no bad beat, or nothing in the world that's going to stop that. The other thing is I stopped all this hero worship. This is another huge problem that I see with a lot of poker players these days, is they see famous poker pros on TV or here on YouTube or Twitch or wherever, and they say, oh, that's Daniel Negreanu, oh, that's Antonio Esfandiari, whoever, insert your favorite, high stakes poker pro, Tom Dwan, Phil Hellmuth, the list goes on. And, a lot of poker players tend to idolize these players. I'm not saying they don't play great poker. These are all great poker players. However, there's nothing special about these people. None of them, as far as I know, are born geniuses or have some sort of superhuman IQ or Einstein-level ability to process information. They're just people who have worked hard at this game to get to where they want to be. And the idea that, they're somehow above you, that you can never get to that level, is quite frankly ridiculous to me. Guys, like I said, your confidence is everything at the poker tables. And if you ever want to have large-scale success in this game, you need to frankly think that you are the best player in every game that you ever choose to sit down in front of. And even if Daniel Negreanu is staring you across on the table one day, you're better than him. And I would expect that he would want you to think that as well. Guys, quite frankly, at the end of the day, you're going to get the results in this game that you think. If you think that you're going to win, you're going to win. If you think that you're going to lose, then you'll find a way to lose. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people, that's what they do. They think their way to failure. Everybody takes bad beats in this game, guys. Everyone gets setups. Everyone gets, unlucky beats right before the final table or at the worst possible time when you're, deep stacked in a cash game. But the only difference is how you react to it. If you constantly start going down the rabbit hole of woe is me and this always happens to me and I'm always unlucky, you're just going to keep digging your own hole deeper and deeper. You have to start thinking this game through like a professional professional with the confidence and that you're going to bounce back, that you're here for the long run. You're not just here for a quick buck like a lot of the amateurs, you know, how they think through this game, because you know that that's not how the game of poker works. So guys, the bottom line is your confidence is everything at the poker table. If you think you're a great player, then you can achieve great success in this game. But a lot of people, quite frankly, they beat themselves before they ever even sit down to play poker. If you ever want to get to the highest limits in this game, guys, honestly, the big secret is the vast majority of it, 90% of it, is right here. It's what you think when you sit down to play in those games. Do you believe that you belong in those games? Do you think that you can compete with those players? If you don't think that you can, then you shouldn't even be sitting in those games in the first place, no matter how big your bankroll is. Guys, bottom line, you need to develop the quiet confidence of a poker champion if you ever want to get big time results in this game. And that, of course, starts away from the tables. That's why I harp so much in these videos here, in my poker books, and on my blog, of putting in the time away from the tables in a program like Poker Tracker, for instance. Links in the description below. Studying your hands away from the table, learning from the other good players in your game, studying advanced poker training material, courses, books, hiring a coach, and so on. Because that is another big secret, guys, is that if you are better prepared when you sit down to play poker, you're more likely to have more confidence. You're more likely to believe that you are the best player at that table. And all of the pros do this as well, guys. They all hire coaches themselves. They all take this game just as seriously away from the tables as they do at the tables. It's kind of crazy to me that I see so many amateurs these days that sit down to play poker and that's literally all they do. They do not review their hands away from the table. They don't think about how they can play situations better. They don't elicit other opinions of high-level pros, for example, people who know what they're talking about. You know, it doesn't really count when you just review your hands, when you just talk about hands with other people who get, you know, around break-even results or something. You have to talk to high-level people, guys, in order to improve your game. So bottom line, guys, it's all about confidence at the poker tables. This is the big secret that a lot of people do not want you to know, is that you're going to think yourself ultimately towards success or failure in this game. And that's honestly been one of my biggest keys to my success over my poker career, is just a quiet confidence that each time I sit down to play at the poker table, I belong there. I'm the best poker player at that table, and there's nothing more that needs to be said. Nobody can take me off my game. Everyone's gonna have comments about your game and this and that. You just learn to tune that noise out, guys. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, because really the only thing that really matters is long-term success. You know, a lot of people talk a lot these days. You know, there's a lot of ego built up in this game, but at the end of the day, guys, you cannot argue with results. You cannot argue with somebody who's been around this game for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, who has stood the test of time. That is somebody who has continually evolved their game, who has moved forward, and who ultimately has a high level of confidence in their own abilities every single time they sit down to play poker. But let me know what is the top piece of poker advice you've ever received in the comments below. If you guys want to see more poker strategy videos like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and also shove all in on that like button below if you found this video helpful. Lastly, I'll leave a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. That'll be the top link in the description below. That'll give you guys some more details on my overall strategy to beat small and mid-stakes games. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. This has been Nathan Williams with BlackRain79.com.